Did your animal companion come from a shelter or a rescue? Please write in the comments, yes or no, or shelter, yes, no. And just think about that and feel your connection with them, feeling your animals here in the cafe with us. And also, have you ever wondered what you could do to help and support them? Well, I'll tell you what, you're in the right place, because our special guest and I are going to be talking about transforming stress into tranquility by practicing the Let Animals Lead method in shelters and sanctuaries. And our special guest is Kelly McDermott-Burns. She'll be up shortly, I promise. So, there's so many new people, and I want to welcome you all. And if you're new, please write new in the comments so we can welcome you and I can welcome you. So whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, find the little comments area and just write new so we can say hi to you. And if you are new, there's a really good chance you don't know me. My name is Janet Dobbs of Animal Paradise Communication and Healing, where my greatest joy is to help you discover your unique way of communicating and receiving communication from animals, and also your unique way of healing with animals. So, I just am so excited to introduce our wonderful special guest, Kelly McDermott-Burns. I've known Kelly, I think, since 2008. So I want to tell you a little bit about her. Since 2005, Kelly McDermott-Burns of Heart Song Reiki and Heart Song for Animals has been bringing heart-centered healing to people and animals in central Vermont and around the northeastern United States. Kelly has trained in the Let Animals Lead method of Animal Reiki with Kathleen Prasad. She is also trained with Franz Stina and Hayakuten Inamoto. And Kelly, this is so cool, Kelly's the East Coast Director for the Shelter Animal Reiki Association, and I really like this part, she's head of SARA's Ethics Committee. She's also a certified companion animal end-of-life doula. Doula, sorry, said that wrong, doula. Love that. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. And also, service is an important part of Kelly's practice, and as a Reiki volunteer, she offers Reiki to local animal shelters, hospitals, and hospice. Educating the public and private sector about the benefits of Reiki is a major focus of Kelly's work, bringing her a diverse group of students from around the world. So let's welcome Kelly without further ado. Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for
Janet.
being here. Hey.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. So, wow, that was a nice long intro. Are we done?
I know.
I'm so nervous.
Well, you're in the right place.
Yes, I know.
We're all animal lovers here, right?
We'll laugh a lot, right?
Oh, okay. So, Kelly, before we even get started, let me figure this out. So, look who's here. Wait, did it work? Okay, there. Hi, Alice.
Hey, Alice.
So she was dancing with us.
I thought it was a dance party.
Yeah, and also with us is...
Hi, Carol.
Carol. So nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for joining us.
And take it away, Kelly.
Hey, so hi, everybody. So that was a great intro. Thank you so much, Janet. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I do with the Shelter Animal Reiki Association and what they are. I mean, our organization is international. It's a 501c3. And our work is to bring Reiki into shelters and support the animals and the staff. When staff are stressed and working so hard, which they've been doing lately, a little bit of Reiki can really go a long way. And when they're calm and peaceful, the animals are more calm and peaceful, and it just makes for a better shelter environment all around, and the likelihood of animals being adopted. So we use the Let Animals Lead method at the shelter. The Shelter Animal Reiki Association trains It's all its members are trained in the Let Animals Lead method created by Kathleen Prasad. And the Let Animals Lead method is about giving the animal complete autonomy and not forcing our hands on them or anything like that, just allowing them to be in and out of the space at will. And it's a beautiful practice based in meditation. We use a lot of meditation. It is a method that we use as it's registered, trademarked, and we use it as a we also use Animal Reiki in that title. So it's the Let Animals Lead method of Animal Reiki. But the Reiki itself is really about the practitioner to really help us to be more grounded and centered and learn to expand our own energy in order to offer to the animals. And so, so I think maybe Janet, we can pop up that little video.
Oh, sure. Stand by.
So we have a little video that's
there we go.
Illustrates how practitioners practice with the Let Animals Lead method. And this is Beth. She's at the Little Red Barn Farm Sanctuary up in Tunbridge, Vermont. And this is Gunther coming on over, and he's just checking her out. And she's not doing a whole lot to, to reach out to him or pet him or put her hands on him. She's just letting him do what he wants to do. And he's just seeing for himself what's going on. And then over here, we have another little goat with Judy Holmes. And she's, both of these gals are members of our organization and trained in the Let Animals Lead method. And so this is a little practice day, and we just went and we stand out in the field with the animals and start breathing and doing some meditation and just allowing them to come and move into the space with us if they wish. It's all up to them. It's very stress-free for them because we're not going into their, moving towards them. We're not taking any kind of, posture that's threatening. It's just a really beautiful way to practice with animals. And when we are in that lovely, grounded and centered space, and we're peaceful through maybe the Reiki precepts and our meditations, then we're just expanding that energy. And so then they can just move in and out at will and have complete autonomy in the session. And, we don't force ever on them, and we just allow them to receive as much or as little as they want. And sometimes they move in and out of the energy, and sometimes they hang out and they might get in our lap. The hands-on part is only if they look like they want to be petted, or it's okay to place our hands on them. So we always follow their lead. So we mirror their behavior. So if an animal comes up and they back away, and when we reach out, then we back away. So it's always about putting them first, putting their needs and wants first. And we're really just there to support them.
Yeah, I love, and I don't know about you, but I worked in when I started learning Reiki, I was taught a whole different way of being, and the animals showed me like, I'm not hanging around for that. And so working in the way that SARA teaches everybody, the SARA, the Let Animals Lead, that's kind of what the animals will show you. And I've just always been tickled by, some of them will walk right up to you and go like, you can put your hand right here now. Oh, right. I don't like that. I'm going over here now.
Yeah. It's beautiful how they'll adjust and sort of present, an area of the body that's a problem for them. And I always tell this story about this little Chihuahua that I was sitting on the floor at the shelter, and he was in my lap, and he was an old guy, and he had just had surgery to remove some bad teeth, and he hadn't been neutered. So he was also neutered. And so he was just, he was really interested, and he came over and he sat in my lap, and we worked together for a while. I just did meditation with him. And then when he was, I had to get going because I had other animals to see. So I, gently lifted him off my lap, thanked him, told him we were all set and done. And before I got up, he backed up to me and stuck put his back legs on my thigh and stuck his butt up. It's like, all right. He was also neutered. It was so cute. And I think his name was Billy. He was so sweet. And so, they often will, put their ear in your hand if they have like ear infections or anything like that. But you can see just from the video how that approach is perfect for shelters because we aren't forcing anything on the animals. We give them plenty of room and space. We don't, um, we're a lot of us have been training in the fear-free method. Our organization has several practitioners who have done that certification, and I'm also one of them. And just learning how to approach animals and be gentle and peaceful, so that they don't get more stressed and more, afraid. So it's a perfect situation when we're in shelters, because we're very much about the best thing for the animal, and not, trying to prove anything, not trying to, oh, look how this works, and putting our hands on an animal and then finding the animal just like freaking out and making their fear and frustration even worse, and stress. So, and then, when we have the ability to offer to the staff as well. And so when the staff is, stressed out, which I know the staff at Rutland County, where I volunteer, is overworked. And so, being able to just include them when I'm doing my meditation, because half the time I ask, they're so busy running around that they really can't do it. They can't spend the time to sit in a chair. So just including them in the meditation, and then also we train the staff. We train the staff for free, just the cost of the manuals. And then we also we will do classes for the volunteers, or maybe the general public if they want that, and then we donate a lot of money to our shelters that way. And all our practitioners or teachers, when they teach classes, donate back. So we've donated a couple $100,000 in the last year or so to shelters and sanctuaries and rescues.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for sharing about SARA, because it's just such a wonderful organization all over the world, helping both not only the animals but the humans that love them. And as you mentioned, yeah, I mean, we all know, you guys especially working with the volunteers, it can be so stressful with them, and to give them something that they can do, just a breathing a breathing technique of some kind, a little meditation that they can do, and then they can share that with the animals as well, maybe even with each other. But the possibilities are so limitless. But to help and support and give back, it's like such the work that you're doing, and all of SARA, all of the people that are part of the SARA organization, I can't say enough about. So thank you.
Yeah, when you think about some of the situations that the staff, the snow has stopped.
It's snowing there?
Not anymore. The sun just came out, and I'm like, ooh, this big ray of light. So, when you think about what the staff has to deal with on a daily basis, animals who come in and they've been, surrendered for whatever reason, and then have to deal with the sadness of the people, and have to deal with animals who may be ill and need immediate care. I mean, there's a whole lot. And, the crowding, it's been very, very, it was really hard on everybody with COVID. The shelters didn't have volunteers coming in, and, they still had animals, and it was really stressful. So, and it still is in a lot of ways. And I think probably most shelters are feeling that.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you suggest for people to do? Anything in particular that could help, or how could people help if
I would say if you're not a Reiki practitioner, you can help just by going in and walking dogs and socializing with the cats. You can help them clean dishes, or the kennels or whatever like that. They can always use volunteer help. When we practice, if you're an animal Reiki practitioner who doesn't practice let animals lead, you may want to consider taking a course, but you could also think about how you're approaching that animal when you go in. If you want to go in and volunteer and do Reiki, making sure that, you're following that protocol of not going in and thinking you're going to do hands-on, or you have a chart of a dog chakra system or anything like that. We don't do anything like that, because we really want the animals to be in charge. They know what they need. We don't need to be forcing our diagnosis on them, or our idea of what they might need.
Yeah.
And another thing I think that's so important if you are going in, and this is one of the 6 pillars of Animal Reiki that we of Let Animals Lead, that we follow is you see that animal in their perfection in the moment. And so we're not going in there like, oh, that poor dog,
Absolutely.
he's got a missing leg or whatever, well, that poor cat, she's, got a crazy, ears are all screwed up from frostbite or whatever like that. So we don't ever go there. We just go in with this open heart, seeing them in their perfection in the moment, seeing that beautiful light that's in each of them, and not bringing more sadness and pain and pity to them by bringing our own stuff into it, right? So that's a lot of that comes from us,
Yeah.
how we're dealing and
Yeah.
what it's triggering in us.
Yeah, I
And so
think
we have to
that's,
do our own work too. That's huge. We have to
yeah.
really do our own work.
Yeah, I think it's so important, our own work, and that's part of what, the Let Animals Lead program is also about. It's like a lot of it is about us. But walking into a shelter, a lot of our stuff comes out. And so one thing that really helped me was put yourself in the place of that animal. You might not know that you're not looking so good, but
Right.
you're inside looking out. You don't see that. You might be feeling something, but if it was you in your human body and you had something wrong, would you want other people going like, "Oh, poor so and so," or "Oh
Right.
my God," or wouldn't you want someone with an open heart that is empathic as opposed to feeling pity,
Exactly.
supporting you and there for you? Absolutely. So that's a whole different way of being, and it does take some time and practice to,
Hmm.
do what you're
Yeah.
doing.
And you and I both come from a pretty strong training with that idea. That's always been, as long as I've known you, we've been practicing, the same way and in the same lineage. And so there is that, real emphasis on self, taking care of ourselves, on working on ourselves more than working on other people. And I think, going into a shelter situation, had I not done that, I would not have been
Right.
prepared. It would have been really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And when we were going to talk, we didn't know if we had time, but I'll just tell this little
Oh,
story of
please do.
if any of my students are on here, they've heard this a million times. But when I went to India with a colleague from SARA, Alison McKinnon, she's the director in the UK. And she and I went, and she had been there before to this little shelter and sanctuary called Tolfa. It's in India. It's the tree of life for animals. And the dogs. For instance, when we're seeing animals as their perfect selves, you walk into that place and there are dogs with two legs. And they're
Hmm.
running around, no problem, having fun, playing with other dogs and greeting us and everything. So they don't see that something's wrong, right? They're
Right.
just in the moment. They're in their being, their true nature. And then so when we're seeing an animal and feeling pity for them, I think that really hinders their healing, right? But anyway, I had to I was doing Reiki with puppies in the puppy house, which was good and bad. It's a different environment altogether, just because of the different ways that protocols they have, and they don't have the advantages that we have here. And so one of the puppies was actively dying, and I was kind of in and out of the puppy house, and moving around, offering Reiki to some of the puppies. And at one point, there was a puppy I worked with a little bit, and I turned around. The next moment, he was gone, and he was just like right on the floor. And I went out to Allison, and she was outside in the yard, puppy yard, dog yard. And I just went out and looked at her and burst into tears. And she was like, "You'll be all right. I know you'll be fine, because you're letting it go, you're letting it out." And so that was hard. But then going back in, Kathleen early on had said to me when I was like, not just me, she said it to, I think, the whole group. She was just developing SARA when I first did my teacher training with her. And I remember, thinking like, how am I going to do this? I don't know if I can do it. And she said, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? And I
Right.
think, that's true,
Yeah.
but we need to
Yeah.
be prepared and grounded for things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so important because Reiki has a role not only for living, but it helps with that death and dying, the death
Absolutely.
process, the transition process, and then also when they're across the rainbow bridge.
Right.
So to be able to be there and hold the space for someone, and then after you can do the crying part, but
Right.
it takes, it takes something special, and so that's kind of in why I feel the practices of the system of Reiki that are taught in the Let Animals Lead program, among other things, are so important, because we need that foundation. Okay, it's like
It's like
bright
so dark when we
sunshine.
started.
But
Here a
so
little
yeah, but I just, I think that it's just amazing how how all of, this whole SARA program serves. And how do you do it? Well, we learn how to get out of ourselves and leave our
Right.
stuffs, like walking into a shelter. And the same thing with animal communication, which is, kind of what I also would do. Leave my stuff, leave our stuff at the door, walking
Right.
into where they are, which is their home. A shelter at that time is their home, their sacred space. And to just be there for them. It's not about us. And then, when we leave, it's like, oh, if that's, or you might
Yeah.
have a happy heart. You never
Right.
know,
Right. Yeah, and it can be like that, where you just go in and one day everything affects you, right? And so we need to know when we're bringing that to the animal, or when we can stay composed and calm and peaceful and open-hearted, and see their light, and continue the work, or it's time to go. We need to leave, because sometimes it's just too hard,
Yeah.
and that's okay. I mean, it's just part of the process, and
Right.
some days are easier than others. But when you were talking about beholding the space and everything, it was perfectly shown to me by two cows when I was at Animal Aid, because we also went there when we were in India. And there was a cow who was dying, actively dying, and another cow who was just standing over that cow and just witnessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so beautiful. It was an incredible experience. And to see how, that cow was there for the other cow, wasn't trying to do anything, just stood there. And I was just sitting nearby offering Reiki. And so, that's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
We always think, also one of the pillars of the Let Animals Lead method is that we see animals as our teachers, and in the healing world, and that they have a lot of lessons to teach us if we're open to that.
Yes. They have so many lessons to teach us. It's like
well,
yeah.
because you talk to them.
Well, I listen. I listen.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing. So the same principle with the SARA, Let Animals Lead, where you listen to the animals and what they need, because they're leading. The same thing with communication. It's not me talking at them and telling them what to do, because, think about, you're telling your teenager, now go do that, because you want your dog or cat to do something. What's a teenager going to probably do? The opposite. The same thing happens with the animals, right? So then there becomes this listening to them, the negotiation. Do you have patience to do that, though? I don't know. It's like, I need you to do this now. But, it's, and the animals are going, silly humans.
I know, right? When are they going to get it right? Those people, we've been trying to tell them forever.
Right. Yeah.
They just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's why we need them in our lives, right? We
Yeah.
need their, their in the moment personalities, their, compassion, unconditional love. We learn a lot from them.
So much. And just so you know, thank you. So Karen.
Hey, Karen.
She wants to say hey. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Please leave some comments if you want to. Feel free. We're here for you to answer your questions. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see them, and we'll be able to answer them right now. It's like a great opportunity. Kelly's here live, and if you have anything that you would like to to learn about, or a question you have about Reiki or working with animals, please feel free. So how are and did you talk about the Tree of Life animals?
Yeah, that's where the dogs were.
Oh, that's where the dogs were. Okay.
Yeah, Tree of Life for animals. They're also members of SARA. That's the other really great thing about SARA, is not just we're not just people members, but practitioners and teachers, but we also have local shelter organizations and sanctuaries and rescues that are members from around the world. And we have members around the world as well. We've got several here in Vermont because it's a small state, so I can easily travel around to talk about what we do. And then we've got, shelters all across the country that are members. And it's wonderful because they get the benefit of, having, being part of our organization and having having people come in and do work, and we're all following the same protocol. So they don't have to wonder what kind of, things are going to happen if people are going to be touching the animals or wanting to go in with them, or, bringing other modalities in. We all follow the same protocol. We're all trained the same. And then we also, do other things to help donate. I do fundraising and, do little intro classes to fundraise for the Little Red Barn Farm or for Rutland County Humane Society. So yeah, it's and I know a lot of our volunteers do more than just Reiki. They step up when people need help in there.
Yeah. So if somebody if a shelter rescue was interested in becoming part of Shelter Animal Reiki Association, what would they do?
Well, they can just go to our website, shelterreikieassociation.org. It's all spelled out. And there's a little link to how to join SARA, how to be a member. And they just have to, fill out the info and what kind of shelter or sanctuary, where they are, what kind of animals they have. And then we try to connect them with the people in their area who can help them, do some training or maybe volunteer.
That's fantastic. So just so people that are watching, listening, or watching the replay know, you'll be able to find that in the description below or over on the side or up above, depending on your device. And also, and the same thing. So the same thing is true if somebody wanted to learn more about SARA and become a SARA member or
well, you have to be trained by a SARA teacher to become a member.
Good.
So that we know that everybody's trained the same way.
Good.
And so like I said, there are teachers all around the country. And so there are classes online now, and all of that can be found on our website.
Fantastic. So again, if you are interested in this, just look in the description. So on YouTube, for those of you that aren't really familiar, it's sometimes hidden, and it depends on if you have a little bitty device, like a phone. It's sometimes really hard to find, but it usually says more, like in little gray letters. And if you click on it, if somebody, there's a drop down that has all kinds of links to Kelly, links to, SARA. So if you have any questions, or you can always contact us, of course. So yeah, so anything, what else about, the wonderful topic that we're talking about. So anything that you haven't mentioned?
Ooh, I covered a lot in a short amount of time. I was hoping I
would. You did.
Yeah,
so, but we've really been talking about, going back to the topic, is, transforming stress into tranquility. And I think that kind of sums up what you do. That sums up the SARA program and the Let Animals Lead program. And do you want to talk to that a little more? How do you transform stress into tranquility? What do you have a little tip that you could maybe share with with anybody?
I do. My little tip is meditation, right? So we know, and I know some of you watching know this practice called Joshin Kokyuho breathing, and it's a traditional practice that we do to calm the mind. It helps to expand the energy from our lower belly, where the center point for us, and also just kind of has a tendency to bring all the crazy down and ground it in our lower abdomen. And I use that constantly, and it's just really a meditation. And actually, there's a little meditation link in here at the bottom of the page, right?
Yeah. So we didn't.
So it's in there.
So just so you guys know, there is a link under Kelly's name in the description. She has a special meditation just for you guys, all the members of the Animal Lovers Cafe, that will help you. It's going to help you in all kinds of ways. It's a nice, short little meditation. And of course, you invite your animals to join you when you do it. And she'll pretty much teach you the breathing technique that she was sharing with you, Josh and Kyokyo Ho. And if you'd like to, no.
Well, do we have time? We can do.
I was just looking at if anybody wants to stick around, we're going over a little bit. Yep. So let's just. Why don't you just? I'm going to just let you, share with them how to do Josh and Kyokyo Ho.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very simple.
Really simple and like something you can do constantly and easily, and like my go-to for everything. It's where I start for everything, really. It's a good foundational breathing practice.
Yes.
And it's really just breathing in through the nose and feeling all this beautiful energy coming in to the body through the crown and through the nose, and then going down the center line of your body and kind of gathering in your lower hara, a couple of inches below your belly button. And then we're pausing there as it gathers, and then on the out breath, we're feeling the energy expanding from the belly in every direction. But the more we do the breath, we feel that it's also coming in and filling every cell of our being so that everything lights up. But the breathing into the belly really helps you to ground, to stay grounded and centered. And so again, it takes all that energy that's going on up here if you're feeling stressed or nervous or anxious. I was doing it before we got started, right? And so then all that energy just comes right down into the belly, and you're grounding it there. So for me, that's one way that we can create more tranquility and relieve ourselves of stress. There are a whole lot of ways in our practices that we do with the shelter staff and the students who go in and do meditation with the animals or let animals lead. There are a lot of practices that we do to keep us in that state. And by sharing that with the animals and approaching the animals in a non-threatening way and taking into consideration where they are and what kind of stress level they might be under, then we can help to bring that stress level down. And one day I was at Rutland County Humane Society, and I was sitting in the back kennel meditating with the dogs back there who hadn't been set for adoption yet. And there were a couple of staff members around the corner, and I could hear them. They're like, I don't know what she does in there, but she sits in there and gets really quiet. So, any bit of peace that we can bring to the animals and the staff is just, it's a gift and, helps them tremendously.
Yeah.
And it's an honor for us, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to thank you so much for being here. And just before we wrap things up, if you want to share like how people can get in touch with you about Heartsong Reiki.
Yep, that's it. heartsongreiki.com is my website, and you can reach me at kelly@heartsongreiki.com. All my contact information is there. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter. all the stuff.
I know all the things that is like what. And so for those of you, if you love what you just saw with Kelly, and hopefully Kelly's going to come back, please hit that like and subscribe, and you can ring the bell, as they say, and get reminders that Kelly might be back, and so thanks for that. And
that was so much fun.
And so thank you for being with us, Kelly. This has been wonderful. I've just so enjoyed always any time I can spend with you. You're just you do so much for animals and the humans that love them, and so thank you again for joining us here at the Animal Lovers Cafe, and hopefully I will get to see.
Thank you everyone for watching now or later.
Yeah. So thanks everybody, and don't forget to look at the description below. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.